Well, I got a chance to mess with this S-10 a little bit today. It's the first time it's been on the lift. Of course, I didn't have that lift when I was putting this truck together. Well, y'all know the story about my son coming home from the hospital when he was born in this thing, and this was his first ride. And he wanted to drive it when he was 16, so I bought this truck in 84. It's at 83, I bought it in 84. I had 8,000 miles on it when I got it. Anyway, I just got up on the lift taking care of a few things, you know, just changing the oil and just kind of looking things over. And found one traction bar that was a little bit loose and tightened that up. And I was just going to kind of show you around under here a little bit. I'm sorry I don't have my light under here. It's up there in the engine bay and I picked the truck up with it. But I was told when we were putting this thing together, I was told a few things you could do and a few things you couldn't do, and I don't remember how this project came about. I don't know if my son mentioned to me that he was reading about V8 engine swaps in these little S-10s after he'd been driving it for a while, or if I mentioned to him that I happened to have a 327 sitting around out of a 63 Impala that a friend of mine had caught on fire and he saved the engine, and I had that engine sitting around for about 20 years, and I don't know who mentioned what first, but you know, pretty soon we had a V8 sitting in this thing, and I was told that you couldn't put dual exhaust on it. Well, you know what happens when you tell me I can't do something, and if I set my mind to it, it's probably going to happen. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I do things wrong and backwards and upside down, and I sure don't do them like everybody else would, but that's okay. For instance, this H pipe here I put in probably would have been better with X pipe, but you see, I was on a budget and I didn't spend any money on this. It'd be nice to buy a little X pipe to go in there, but I built this all out of scrap. These are all scrap pieces. You can see the bend in that one, accordion bend there, and that's a piece of scrap. And I got this corner, and you know, beat that one around and made it work. See these little pieces? Because I didn't have sections long enough. I just had scrap is all I had. That's what this is made out of. I think it looks pretty good for scrap. Hey, you can see on back here the little short pieces where I was stepping down to another size or stepping up because I didn't have, you know, I just didn't have anything to work with except this come out of my junk pile back there. So I could have ran these out the back, straight out the back or whatever, but I ran them both out the same side, and I kind of like that. It sounds good. I mean, it just cackles, you know. But that's kind of different, you know. You don't see them like that all day long. So that's what I did. Anyway, I was just showing you my scrap-built exhaust system, and I'm sure there'll be people point out 100 things that are wrong, but I don't care. This thing, pretty never entered into it when we were building this thing. Nobody said, well, let's make this thing pretty. All we said was, let's get this thing on the road and drive it. So that's what we did, and that's what we're still doing. See ya.